Hey, watch it now, text box. I got 5 bullets left. You better get that story straight. Now that's more like it.
You can get hooked on it.
Are you?
Yeah.
I've been working hard.
What is it that fascinates kids so much about these games? What is it?
Their adventures and all that.
But I really don't care.
It may be the most addictive toy in history, and it's definitely the hottest thing this Christmas. Nintendo video games.
Growing up, catching anything game-related on TV was rare. Video games were still kinda niche, so it makes sense that there wasn't much to watch. The kids' channels made attempts to include gaming-related stuff, with Toonami doing full reviews, Disney showing off their latest games, and Nick even had a full show dedicated to video games called Nick Arcade.
Alright, we're up to 13 rings. Oh, he lost all of his rings.
Dude, it's the first level, get off the sticks. At least this way, no matter which channel you watched, you were still gonna end up in a locker. And if you really wanted to never catch a woman, you had Tech TV and G4, all day feeds of the latest gaming and tech news.
Kim Possible is a big-eyed tart.
But soon, the world of video game media would change forever with the rise of the internet.
What are you all doing here?
Now, any dude with a capture card and the need to embarrass himself could make anything he wanted about games. And the content came pouring in. Music parodies, game reviews, tech tryouts, let's plays, webcomics. Wait, no, don't show that stuff. With all the new stuff to consume, gaming quickly took over the web, and gamers didn't have to feel shame anymore. Alone. They didn't have to feel it alone.
No, not my pimp cup.
I was right there in the thick of it too. With cartoons being both my interest and prison, I mostly consumed Flash cartoons over on Newgrounds. If you held a gun to my head in 2008, I would have told you nothing was funnier than Awesome Gaiden.
Oh my god!
But that wasn't all I watched. As time passed, people got more and more ambitious. Now, any dick can make a quick web parody with a snowball mic and little self-awareness. But what separated the boys from the man-children was having a whole show dedicated to games. A full cast of characters, enough swear words to make Vivzy Pop blush, and if you're lucky, you even got a plot. And if you were luckier, a good plot. I was obsessed with tons of these, and at one point, I followed them more than anything that was on TV. Let Hal throw all the pizzas he wants on the roof. I just want to know if Yoshi's gonna make it in Super Mario Bros. Z. So today, I want to take you back to a time when cringe was the default. Dust off that Wii Opera browser, and let's see what a pirated copy of After Effects and severe dehydration can do. I'm your host and overpriced collectible, D'Angelo Edwards, and today I'm taking my hat off to video game web shows. This is a Morgan & Morgan legal alert. If you've received Depo-Provera birth control shots and were later diagnosed with a brain or spinal tumor called meningioma, you may be eligible for a lawsuit. Morgan & Morgan is investigating claims that patients weren't properly warned about this risk. It's free to check, takes a few minutes, and you don't pay unless they win. Click the link in the description to see if you qualify.
A lot of people say we need more subtle humor in these episodes. So here's my dick.
Sometimes, you go back and look at something you used to love and realize that it's just a bunch of crude jokes and offensive content.
What is this?
You never heard these guys?
That's the
stickiest pussy I've ever seen.
What is it?
And if you're like me, you realize all that and still laugh anyway.
Oh, it's on, asshole.
You better check your privilege before you wreck your privilege, because this is Sanity Not Included.
So this is the place. This is where the magic happens. Machinima.com right in there.
Sanity originally premiered on the Machinima YouTube channel. They were a channel that started off as a website made to host machinimas, animations that were made with games like Quake and Halo. But what separates this from stuff like Gmod or just animating the 3D models is that these were done in real time, basically just people recording themselves play and adding a plot. Though usually there was more advanced camera control than what you would see in the real game. While a bit janky, the style quickly caught on. And with such a low barrier to entry, any dude with a cracked copy of Unreal Tournament could be making the next internet legend. Film bros have Citizen Kane, machinists have Quad God. That was one that changed the game, as it was uploaded as an actual video file that normal people could watch, instead of a demo file that you would need the game just to run. You had to have the whole game just to watch a fan project. Imagine having to pop a DVD into your computer just to watch Nostalgia Critic. People had to fight to be nerds back in the day. But Quad God showed another way, and with video files becoming the standard, Machinima eventually decided that instead of competing with the then growing YouTube, they would instead make a channel on it themselves. And to sweeten the pot, they created a network where all kinds of creators would post on their channel and be paid for it. And I'm sure everyone involved had a perfectly satisfactory experience.
Sign here, please. Welcome to Machinima.
Let's focus on the two dudes who made the show for Machinima, Dexter Manning and Lyle Burris.
Eat a dick.
Starting with Dex, or Dexter Boy 124 as he was known at the time, I was actually familiar with his stuff even before I found Sanity. I was a big fan of his earlier machinimas, and you can't forget his magnum opus, Peach's Slutty Adventure.
Why did I do that? I killed my best friend.
Peach, finally found you, little bitch.
He's also a self-described twat.
Well, you see, being British is toodle pip, cheerio, lad. Good, good, what?
I used to watch him all the time on The Creatures too.
The hell is it?
One of the very first big content houses on YouTube. Man, I miss The Creatures. Forget when Smosh broke up, where were you when The End was posted? There's also Lyle, who went by Guitar Master X7, but who you probably know as Lyle Raff or Lyle McDouchebag. I've been a fan of his for a while too, starting all the way back at Brawlgasm.
Oh jeez, oh god, no.
Got a fucking gun, honky!
I'm sorry.
He's one of the original Newgrounds dudes, doing music and voices for a bunch of classics. Big fan of his pre-game Discharge series too. Longtime friends, the two of them had worked together before on each other's projects, but this would be the first big project together. And since they were both familiar with machinimas, why not a TV show based around them? Sanity Not Included is kind of like a machinima sketch show. Think SNL but way faster paced. Just a bunch of different skits featuring tons of different games.
William Kratos doesn't give up on his students, and he doesn't let his students give up.
I demand you to rage! I can't! Sound it out!
But instead of just always doing straightforward game parodies, they treated the game models more like actors themselves. Certain games or characters would have recurring bits throughout seasons, with big players including characters from Half-Life, Gears of War, and tons of Halo.
Shh! Eat your fruits and vegetables. Okay, I will.
In an interview with Destructoid, Lyle talked about wanting to avoid the more overused jokes in video game parodies. You know, the classic Mario's mushrooms are drugs, or Pokemon is like dogfighting.
We don't kill Pokemon!
We do! We do it for you, you fucking assholes!
There are jokes like that in there, but there are just as many where a character is just a guy.
Wow,
You suck at fishing, dude.
Shut up, I caught a Bible yesterday.
The sheer variety of games used keeps it fresh for me, with everything from Brawl to Scott Pilgrim. Your mileage will vary with how funny you find them, but I was shocked at how many I still laughed at.
You wanna suck each other off while listening to opera music? Are you dicking around right now? Nah, man, I'm just trying to keep it real.
They even had some interactive skits, with annotations leading to different results.
Okay, think. I can either use my prostate powers to blast shit all over him, or I can clench my ass and try to break his fingers. Yeah.
One of the things that just can't be replicated nowadays. But it wasn't just skits. Eventually, at the end of the episodes, there would be an animation featuring the two creators as roommates, going through their day and causing chaos.
So this is where you've been all this time, huh? Hanging out with your cool new friends.
Cool new This is my grandmother.
They were joined by Nina, a walking, talking ratings booster, and later in the show, Amanda, Dex's girlfriend. Only in the show, of course. You think it's that easy to land a necrophiliac 9?
Nah, man, she's cool. She won't get her vagina hurt when we start laughing at tragic events. Actually, she's kind of into it a bit. She likes necrophilia quite a lot, and I'm gonna shut my mouth now.
That only happens in the movies, kid. The video game skits were great and all, but these were the real draw to me. Just seeing whatever mess these two terrible people would get into was a blast.
I don't speak bird, but I got a damn good translator.
Suck my massive
Well, that's not
Ninja battles, bar fights, many threesomes, and beyond, this show had something for the whole family. The animations in the first season were just done by Lyle, so they were pretty crude. But starting from the finale of that season, they switched the Spaz Kid. They switched the Kid, another friend of theirs, and again, big guy on Newgrounds. I highly recommend his Paper Mario fan game. Just make sure you have the volume turned all the way up. This is when things got bigger, and it's when the scope of the animation increased. It was still pretty jank in places, but this is way better than before.
Okay, this is actually getting kind of weird.
One of my favorite bits was just Nina trying her best to stop a baby from getting into trouble, only to realize it was the boys putting it into harm's way.
You couldn't stop us that time, could ya?
Yeah, fuck that baby!
Most of these were like 2 to 4 minutes of animation until you got to the season 2 finale, which was a 15-minute long action-packed jailbreak. I still remember the day it came out. Me and a bunch of my friends at school all crowded around my ancient laptop watching the insanity unfold. Oh, so that's why they call it that. It had action, it had callbacks, it had moments for the intellectual crowd. It was probably the peak of my experience with Sanity, and I still go back and watch it every so often. But after this is where I kinda fell off. Season 3 was fine, but it never quite hit the highs of Season 2, and Lyle even left the show at the end of the season.
Well, I quit forever. Tell everyone I shot myself. Maybe I can pull some Cobain tail out of it.
Being replaced with Alexander Marchant in Season 4. Now, no shade to Alex, I was a big fan of his too. I knew him as Immortal HD, and he was also in The Creatures. And he eventually left them, along with Nova, the best creature, to make Cow Chop, which, man, you just had to be there. Pour out a squiggly cup for our fallen comrades. But Alex and Dex just didn't work together for me. Lyle and Dex had a great back and forth, with Dex being the slightly more reasonable one, and Lyle being the loud, obnoxious one.
How was your day down at the morgue?
Pretty good.
Oh, well, if it isn't Amanda. Get it? Because she's a man? Duh! Oh, fuck's sake, I'm hilarious. I'm writing that one down.
But when Alex joined, he was just kind of a dumb guy who was in love with Nina. The skits also got way less funny, and I didn't care for the new art style. No offense to Navarki. So that was where I called it quits. They got 2 more seasons after that, one without any animations at all, and one where it was just Dex. Just like that college party I went to, it started with a bang, but sadly died with a whimper.
Peace, slut.
Should I call her? Even though Sandy died out, a lot of the people involved went on to do a ton of cool work. Dex became a full-time voice actor in game dev, with one of his biggest roles being Harvey from Blood Money. Lyle's become a full-time member of Oni Plays, the Let's Play channel made by Chris O'Neill, and he's made several animations himself, along with appearing in Smiling Friends as a voice actor. And very important to me, the voice of Amanda, Kimlin Tran, ended up being the voice of Chi-Chi in Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
All right, I demand to know who has been spreading rumors that I've been forcing Gohan to, and I quote, "Held my tuna!"
Now, did Sanity Not Included age well? Nah, I could smell it before I turned the computer on. But I think people need to stop being so afraid that they might still find offensive humor like this funny. You can laugh at and critique something. Even the creators have talked about how they're a little embarrassed of their past work, but with stuff like this, you have to remember the time and place it came out. And this was 2010's internet. This stuff was a dime a dozen, and I think they realize it too. Dex has even gone out of his way to re-upload all the episodes that Machinima took down, ad-free. I had a great time revisiting this. And if you want to judge my character based on the media I found funny at 18, then maybe your Sandy wasn't included either.
I wish he hadn't said that. Now I'm kind of rooting against him.
Oh cool, I didn't know they made a comic too. And it was drawn by Shade. Oh, actually, let's move on. Talk to the head, eh?
She's right, dude. You should check with the big guy.
Nah, man. You should chill out and relax. He'd call you if he needed you. Let's all get a chili dog.
Whoa! Chili dog!
Don't forget the peppers.
He's Captain S, and he is one hell of a guy. He's Captain S. Be glad that he is on our side.
My chances of ever making it big in the stock market evaporated the day I chose Sega over Nintendo.
We're ruined! Who will feed my children? They're dying!
Yet, I gladly do it all again. Move over, Nintendrones, because we're talking about the new adventures of Captain S. This is probably one of the earliest things I'm going to be talking about in the video, and man does it feel like it, but in a good way. Captain S was created in 2007 by PBC Productions. They were a company that focused on making internet videos based on nerd culture like games and anime. It was founded by Chad Williams, the creator of the show, Lindsey Berg, Steven Riley, and star of the show himself, Brett Vanderbrook.
Today rocks so hard.
You might recognize Lindsay from her show, Little Miss Gamer, which ended up being featured on That Guy with the Glasses. If you remember that 1-year anniversary brawl, she was the one that got into a pillow fight with Lindsay Ellis. The internet used to be so classy, what happened? While they had ties with Nostalgia Critic, they were playing both fields, and also worked with Screw Attack, which is where Captain S ended up. Based on an old idea that Chad had, Captain S follows Chad Belmont, wonder where he got that name, a Sega nerd who, after buying a Magical Genesis cartridge, becomes the defender of Videoland.
Go forth, young hero, and vanquish young foes, for I dub thee Captain S, Video Defender.
Sega! He's joined by his best friend Becky, a gamer girl, trademark, who secretly has a crush on him.
Where the bonk's revenge are you, Chad Belmont?
That's not a Sega game. You're a phony! And Lunk, his big eating jock friend. Whoa, a blonde underachiever and an Asian girl with a crush on him? It's like Scott Pilgrim if he didn't have to wear an ankle monitor. Captain S was inspired by shows like Saved by the Bell, Power Rangers, and according to the creator himself, something called Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad.
I got sucked into a computer, fought a deadly digital monster, oh, and I found my lost gym sock.
But obviously, a big inspiration for this show was the cartoon Captain N, which featured the kid getting sucked into the video game world. Cool series and concept, but man, it reeks of we didn't know anything about these games.
I'll show this mega lizard how kind of mega magic. Wow, that was mega fun. Give me a mega fucking reason.
Never watched much of it, but I remember reading one of the comics where Captain N gets stranded for 15 years, and as soon as he sees Samus from Metroid, he goes in for the kill. Comics used to be so classy, what happened? Instead of just taking place in the video game world, it showed Chad going back and forth between it and the real world. After getting his powers, he starts reporting to a big blue head, who he calls the Chief. He sends him on missions inside different video games, which usually relate to whatever problem he's dealing with in the real world, be it trying out for soccer or slacking at a job.
If you need me, I'm gonna be in my office enjoying a pudding cup.
Why did we have to see him eat the whole pudding cup? And he's not the only one with video game powers, as his former best friend Nigel, now going by Ness, has allied himself with the evil game genie.
If you spread peanut butter on a cracker, the squirrel will inevitably nibble.
And nibble he did.
And sometimes regular peanut butter is not good enough. Sometimes you need to use chunky peanut butter.
It's super cheesy and definitely shot on a budget, but I had a big smile on my face the whole time I watched it. I wouldn't call it a gut buster or anything, but it just feels so genuine. I can't help but have a good time. Whee! And there are some moments that are so weird it gets a pretty good laugh out of me.
But look at the sweet graphics and the speed. It's like hyper speed.
Your mom's on speed.
For the tone they're going for, the acting is pretty good. A little stilted, but it matches that 90s sitcom style.
Get him out of here. He's bad for my business. Shakes are supposed to be fun. Happy times.
The characters feel that way too. Chad is your classic cocky slacker, Bex is the smart but misunderstood girl, and Lunk eats a bunch. There's even a popular girl who he has no chance with. Not the deepest characters, but they're portrayed so likably it doesn't matter.
Blue pigs get the kick. Everything gets the kick. Shin kicking.
And as the show goes on, there is some character development. Chad starts off as super irresponsible, abusing his powers in the real world, and constantly flaking on his friends. But as the plot thickens and Chad sees how important his role as video defender is, he really steps up. Bex even comes in to help as his guy in the chair, tracking his progress through a hacked Sega Nomad. You want to make your dad's day? Go ask him what that is. Once the plot really kicks in, I couldn't help but get a little hyped. He even gets a brand new jacket halfway through, complete with Reebok's pumps.
4 pumps? Oh, your foot must be floating right now.
It's like when they used the whole episode just to give Danny Phantom a logo. Surprisingly though, I think the video game parts can drag one a bit. It is cool seeing him go from game to game, but at some points it just felt like watching a weird Let's Play.
Ah, no touchy, robot. I'm just minding my own business.
It's impressive how dedicated they were though. They went frame by frame putting him to the games, layering photos over sprites. You can see the real sprite poking out sometimes, but it is cheaper than getting someone to actually put him in the game. Speaking of money, they made this thing completely out of pocket. In an interview with Sega 16, they talked about paying for it all themselves, spending 72-hour editing sessions taking turns sleeping and editing, and overall, the whole thing just seemed like a huge passion project.
Frogger gone wrong.
They even made an in-character MySpace page and a cool website that's still up to this day. This thing is a time capsule, look at it. I'm sure they wanted to make money doing this, but I think it was just because they wanted to make more. And that genuine passion really shines through in the final project. It never felt like they were making fun of the stuff they were parodying. You could just feel the love.
Everywhere you look.
It has a different flavor than the usual cynical video game stuff you saw at the time, and I really liked it. But sadly, Captain S never really caught on. He showed up in a lot of Screw Attack stuff at first, even starring in a full crossover with the Angry Video Game Nerd. What's crazy is that, considering the family-friendly tone of Captain S, they had to majorly crank down the nerd's language.
Happy holidays. Feliz Navidad. Merry Christmas. What?
but not even that was enough to keep things afloat. While there were plans for a second season, with talks of making it more serious, it never really worked out. And they even tried to bring it back as a comic, but that also fell through. And now, with pretty much everyone on the team having moved on, I don't think we're going to see the return of Captain S anytime soon. In a way, I think it came out too early. All the video game parody stuff back then were just quick little jokes and potty talk. But this actually tried to tell a story. It tried to make you care. And despite the rough edges, they really made something special. If you want a fun little series packed with nostalgia and heart, I think you'll get a kick out of Captain S. See, I told you guys I'd talk about this one day. Only took me 6 years too, I'm getting quicker.
Due to the high toxicity of material routinely handled in the Black Mesa compound, no smoking, eating, or drinking are permitted within the Black Mesa transit system.
Yeah, whatever. I'll drink a 40 ounce up here if I feel like it.
Now for a show with a wait time between episodes slightly lower than Half-Life. Freeman's Mind is another show that I first saw on Machinima back in the day. I've been a Valve fan ever since I bought a copy of the Orange Box instead of lunch on a field trip. I bought it for Portal, but I did not expect to have so much fun with Half-Life 2, the game that showed me that FPS fans aren't just people you should be nice to just in case. In the game, you play a silent protagonist named Gordon Freeman, and according to the internet, it's impossible to connect with a character unless they share every trauma and life experience with you, so I never really thought much about him. But what if he did talk and we got to know him personally? What kind of guy would a man so eager to fire a gun be? Well, Freeman's Mind answered that question and turned Gordon Freeman into a petty, paranoid egomaniac with mild schizophrenia.
What was that? You trying to say something about me? Man, I'll kill you.
Finally, a character made for me. Created by Ross Scott in 2007, Freeman's Mind was initially conceived as just an experiment. In an interview with PC Gamer, Scott said that he really just wanted an idea that he could get out faster than his other Machinima series at the time, Civil Protection.
Jesus, do we have to go through this every Friday?
Since he already had fans in the Half-Life community from that, he figured that this would be a safe bet. And with how little you get from Gordon in terms of personality, the dude was basically a blank canvas. And there's nothing more fun to do with a blank canvas than to make it super messy.
It's like you took all the colors that exist and said, fuck it, here's a new one.
In Ross's hands, Freeman went from a mild-mannered physicist just trying to survive to a snarky, pill-popping anarchist who's a little too okay with wiping out an entire army.
Is that an MP5? It is. Oh, now I can solve up to 800 problems a minute.
And also a little too good at it. I'd say check his browser history, but you know his computer's rigged to explode.
And that puts me at 6 or 7 counts of self-defense. All right?
Ross mentioned it in that same interview, but Freeman really did just immediately slide into the role of assassin pretty quick for some Poindexter. There's a self-preservation element in play, but you don't just wake up able to treat Black Ops like dudes who never missed an episode of Bluey.
This is so unproductive. You fell for that trick again! And again!
Some part of him was always planning for this moment, and now he's a kid in a candy shop. Gordon starts out as an unhinged, but mostly put together victim of circumstance, but after a few episodes, he's making games out of killing people.
Tag, you're it! Not you, the other guy! You're it! No tag backs.
I don't expect anyone to keep their heads completely clear during an alien invasion, but singing show tunes while you murder kinda makes you wonder about the guy.
I'm very well acquainted with mathematical. I understand equations with a simple and quadratical. By binomial theorem, I'm teaming with a lot of news. With many cheerful facts about the square of the hypotenuse. Where's my chorus?
And what's even funnier is that despite all his crazy ramblings and tweaked out actions, you somehow still buy that he's a highly skilled scientist.
Stop that. Today's lesson is on muzzle energy and momentum.
I might not trust this man with a pair of safety scissors, but I'd read a thesis paper by him. What's fun about this series, and what sets it apart from just being an in-character Let's Play, is how much care Ross puts into how he plays. He wanted it to be more believable than if he was just playing the game normally, so he did things like putting away his gun when reaching for items or going up ladders, walking more than running, and lowering the difficulty so he wouldn't have to pop a medkit every 5 minutes. I mean, think about when you play those games. You get shot at so much that if the blood loss doesn't do you in, the lead poisoning will. By doing small things like lowering the amount of bullets needed to kill enemies, or using no-clip cheats to get past game hazards, he really sold the believability. I was never thinking things like, hey, he just cheated, or why didn't he do that part? I just got kinda mad at the real game for not allowing me to do a pull-up where it made sense.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about staying fit in an academic field. You can beat up most of your coworkers if you have to. Yeah, see, I can do a pull-up.
Why take all these winding roads when you can just pave a psychopath to success? Freeman's Mind was an instant classic in the community, and it didn't take long for other Mind series to pop up. There were plenty of games in the Half-Life universe, and it's not just Gordon you always play as. Soon you had shows like Barney's Mind, Shell's Mind. There were even original characters created like Felix and Felix's Mind, who was Gordon's twin brother. This thing is the all-in-the-family of machinimas. I watched a ton of these back in the day, but my favorite was always Shepard's Mind. I have never played Opposing Force, but I want a sequel so bad, just so I could get more Shepard's Mind. It's that good. And these guys didn't just stay in their own bubble either. They were crossovers all the time.
Who am I? Who are you?
I thought we'd established I'm an inanimate locker. My name's Adrian. Now will you help me get out of here?
And there was even a group Q&A between all the creators called Meeting of the Minds. If it were the actual characters from their respective shows, them being in the same room would be grounds for a nuclear strike. As time has gone by, uploads of Freeman's Mind have considerably slowed down, which is funny since this was meant to be the quicker series to produce. But with how much goes into writing and planning out scenes, it's no wonder the workload for this series became more involved. And it's not like Ross hasn't been putting anything out. Besides Freeman's Mind, he also has a series called Ross's Game Dungeon, where he shows off obscure PC games. It's thanks to this series that I was introduced to Trick Style and its bangin' soundtrack. He also dipped his toes into activism, creating Stop Killing Games, a movement dedicated to the preservation of games after they're taken offline. And despite being such an old figure in the online gaming space, he still gets tons of views on his stuff. New episodes of Freeman's Mind never get less than 300k, and that's on the lower side of what he gets. It's nice to see such a loyal fan base, can't imagine what that's like. And luckily, even after parting ways with Machinima, all of the episodes of Freeman's Mind have been uploaded to Ross's channel, Accursed Farms. Ross took a voiceless character and turned him into a murdering bastard I can't help but love. And I don't think anyone else could have did a better job. I mean, look at the dude. Who would know Freeman better than the man himself? If you want to take a glimpse into his dark reality, give Freeman's Mind a chance.
Well, time to play God. Let's see people disrespect me now. They'll find out what happens when you mess with the Freeman.
Like later, oh geez, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I actually have a girl over right now. She ran you just showed up. Hey Mai, how's it going? Ooh, yeah. Oh geez. That must have turned her off.
Neo, Zeo, Neo, Zeo. 4 white buttons and 2 joysticks. Neo, Zeo, Neo, Zeo. Red cabinet, name that stick. Neo, Zeo, Neo, Zeo. 4 white buttons and 2 joysticks. Neo, Zeo, Neo, Zeo. Red cabinet, name that stick.
If you ever wanted to see the true embodiment of total freedom, then you don't have to look any longer. Nathan Barnett might be the last dude left who's purely in it for the love of the game. And to me, he is the peak male form. You wanna argue with me? I'm right here, bro. Hey, Nathan has been around for a while, like even before the internet, and he's done basically everything there is to do in the media world. TV shows, video game commercials, viral vids. I remember doing my homework and turning my head to Adult Swim and seeing him in an M&M commercial, and people loved him.
Keith, I've missed you!
Me too!
The Flo Rida video he's in has more views than the actual video Flo Rida did, and you haven't lived till you've seen him on America's Got Talent. By the way, as long as he's here, it does. I was first introduced to him in two things. First one was Trail Lawaus, a dude who was super into candy, mostly Skittles.
Need I say more?
This guy almost changed the trajectory of my life. I was convinced I wanted to dance like that. I had a plan too. I was gonna force myself into his universe and say that I was a clone made from his DNA in a Snickers bar. It was a different era. But what really hooked me was his first breakout show, and what we'll be discussing, Talking Classics.
According to facts, most babies' first words are "Gah." So I think what nature is telling us is that even babies say "Gah." You get it?
Talking Classics follows Keith Apicary, a socially awkward nerd who isn't aware that he's a socially awkward nerd.
Have you ever been kissed in the third dimension?
He's into obscure games and 80s and 90s stuff. Instead of just straightforward game reviews, the show is more like a mockumentary, following his daily life, with whatever he's talking about that day acting as a springboard.
After playing so many good classic games with good chiptune soundtracks, chiptunes really became my favorite type of music. So now I listen to them everywhere I go.
One minute he's talking about light gun games, and the next he's decked out in full Rambo gear.
You know there's more men out there. You know where they are. Find them, or I'll find you.
You look just like him. It's so weird.
I thought this was supposed to be a show about a gamer. Why is he outside so much? The charm of the show comes from Keith's absolute confidence that he really is the man. He gets all the ladies, he's the best at all the games, and if he wanted to, he could totally be a Ninja Turtle.
Check it out. I found some ooze behind that dumpster. Now I'll turn into a Ninja Turtle.
Nathan gave him the perfect personality, exaggerated but believable. The way he fixated on the weirdest and most specific things goes a long way to make him feel like a real dude. Every nerd has that one piece of hardware that they just go nuts for. For me, it's the PSP, and for him, it's the Virtual Boy.
I went ahead and I invented a head strap so that I could wear the system at all times.
Also, big props for never being afraid to embarrass himself. It's one thing to record yourself in your room, but it didn't matter where Nathan was. If the glasses were on, anywhere was fair game. A lifelong fan of physical comedy, Nathan made sure that Keith was always doing some outrageous stunt.
I've fallen off of roofs. I've gotten hit by cars. I've hit cars. I've fallen down stairs. I've climbed convention centers.
If you're not willing to jump off a roof, what are you even doing trying to be in the entertainment business? The show mostly focused on Keith, and there weren't a lot of reoccurring characters. But there was a mainstay in his sister Kelly, played by Laura Giroux.
Watch out!
Kelly, shut up!
She did a great job playing off of Keith, really nailed that annoying sibling that's probably a little bit smarter than the older one vibe, and she was never afraid to get involved in the physical comedy too.
Boom! Headshot.
Of course, the internet was super normal about her. Hey, why do all her episodes have the comments turned off? Keith didn't just stay confined to his show, he took this act everywhere he went. The whole world's a stage and Keith had the level select code. He showed up in places like E3, Comic-Con, you name it, and he was always in character, and nothing was off limits for a bit. Whether you were a celebrity or a normal dude, Keith would make you part of his show. A man after my own heart.
Let's take it easy to Keith Apicary. I'm so partial.
With Talking Classics being a Screw Attack show, he appeared in a lot of other stuff too. He was in a couple of episodes of AVGN, and he even got into a feud with Brinklefloss.
And then that leprechaun, he's gonna be there too.
Man, I miss when all it took for me to feel something was to see two minor internet celebrities in the same room. When he wasn't stealing mics from Peter Jackson, Keith was also making music videos for the show, with my favorite being the one he did about his Neo Geo machine. Like, yeah, this stuff is supposed to be like silly and cringe, but the dude could actually dance. Some major talents on display in these things. Keith just had such a great energy to him, and he quickly became a beloved character. He even got so big that he got a pilot with Adult Swim called Youth Large.
Oh!
If you're a fan of stuff like I Think You Should Leave, this will be right up your alley. Sadly, it didn't get picked up, but the pilot is still available, and I highly recommend it. While Keith hasn't shown up as much in recent years, Nathan is still going strong with his characters, with his most recent and popular one being Dad, the main star of Dadfills, a surreal comedy featuring Nathan as a middle-aged husband striving to become the king of YouTube. The story in that one goes places, so make sure to check that one out too. Dad even appeared in Creator Clash, and he won his match. It's kind of hard to talk about Keith Apicary or really anything Nathan does without me just saying how much I'm into it. I love the dedication, the willingness to do anything, and just the fun of never knowing what's gonna happen next. I mean, the dude got into a fight with Charlene Yee over a used game. How can I not love that? I love Fusion! Ruby, no, that's not what Fusion's about. If we're talking about the giants of online nerd content, I think Nathan deserves a spot up there right with Doug Walker and James Roth. The dude loves to entertain, and that love is present in everything he makes. And his role as Keith Apicary is up there with some of his best stuff.
Do whatever you like. Do anything. Film it all, put it on the internet, and whatever is working the best, do more of that if you're interested in it. You gotta do what you like because it's hard. I've even tried thinking like, oh, what will go viral, what will work, and it never works. The thing that gets the most attention is what the audience sees you having fun doing.
Nathan might have thought he was just talking classics, but it turns out he was making one as well.
Go!
Jesus Christ, Link, we've been walking forever. How much longer?
Just a few more twisty turnsies.
What the?
Margaritas!
Margaritas! Margaritas! Margaritas! Margaritas!
I hate you! I fucking hate all of you!
In this economy, the closest your average gamer will ever come to employment is around a power wash simulator. Not me though, the only thing I'll ever launder is money. Try and arrest me. I got a cyanide pill in one cheek and some Yogos in the other. I'm covered either way. But maybe you'd feel better about yourself if you knew your favorite video game characters had it rough too. What do you do when you can't go any lower? You become Sonic for hire.
Whatever, I don't give a shit as long as I get some coins.
I think you mean rings.
Coins, rings? Hey, I had to eat one of those cute little squirrels for dinner last night. I'll call them whatever the fuck I want.
Sonic for Hire is yet another series that I first saw in machinima, and out of everything on this list, it is hands down my favorite. Sonic is one of the most parodied characters on the internet, but what sets this apart from all the other dudes sharing the same Sonic Battle sprite sheet was that instead of Sonic just doing anime fights or exploring Sally's knothole, this time his main challenge was just paying the rent.
Ow, 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 my face! Tails, grab those coins, I need them for laundry!
Created by Mike Parker and Michael William of Lowbrow Studios, the show follows the down-on-his-luck hedgehog as he stumbles his way from job to job, usually involving him traveling into other video games, a la Wreck-It Ralph, but he's not allowed to go in that one anymore.
Sonic? I'm gonna wreck it!
Yeah, we'll just show ourselves out.
Sonic has the ability to somehow turn the simplest of jobs into an orgy of destruction and incompetence so bad, it's almost impressive.
Get a taste of the Zamboni pony!
Like, this isn't the kind of screwing up you do by accident. This takes dedication. Of course, he's joined by other fellow Sonic characters like Tails, who acts as his roommate, job seeker, and basically legal guardian. There's also Eggman, who has pretty much all but given up on his dreams of world domination for a simpler, pantsless life.
Yo, Eggman needs to find Beer Man. He's a getting low.
I remember asking a friend if taking off her bra was as relaxing as taking off your pants is for a guy, and she hasn't logged back onto Skype since. It's not just characters from his game that he hangs around though. There's a couple of surprising mainstays that wormed their way into their series.
You're so stupid.
Don't put me in the boner water. Oh, it's in my mouth.
Oh man, those 2 hours of sleep are doing wonders for my Segway game. Earthworm Jim slowly joins the main cast, starting off as just another one of Sonic's bosses, before basically just becoming the other half to Eggman's idiot sandwich.
Okay guys, the bag's in place. When do we ring the doorbell?
Now?
Together, the four of them pave a wave of chaos all throughout video game land, getting into crazy situation after situation, and man is it fun to watch. There is so little of their authentic personas in them that these might as well be original characters. Sonic is a drug-addicted chronic slacker, Tails is a recovering alcoholic, Eggman's either eating too much, drinking too much, or being too much, and Jim is a whiny nerd that never seems to catch a break. When you look at it all on the surface level, it's chock full of your standard video game parody cliches, but what ties it all together is the quality of the writing. Not like this is high art or anything, it's literally produced by lowbrow studios, but the voice work, line delivery, and just sheer number of quotable moments had me cracking up as a kid, and they still kill me to this day.
This is my game, asshole. You see that name up there?
I'm not a strong reader.
Me and my friends used to quote Kirby all the time. He was just so perfectly psychotic.
Now murder away, or Kirby's gonna get a whole lot faster.
While it was initially an episodic show, as the series went on, different arcs would lead where the story went. Whether it was working under Mario's Mafia, or terrorizing space with Star Fox's crew, as long as these four were together, you know it was going to be a stupid fun time. This show is my exact sense of humor, and I still think it holds up.
Where you going? Your shift just started.
Well, I'm definitely not going to smoke crack in the bathroom and then burn this place down with my crack pipe.
Well, at least I still got my moped.
This should buy me some great crack.
And it has some of the weirdest running jokes. Like Sonic is just obsessed with this one poster of Dominique Wilkins for some reason, to the point where after it's destroyed, he finds the real guy and freezes him in carbonite to replace it.
I don't remember. Was that your idea, the Dominique Wilkins? That seems like it's your idea.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know why I landed on Dominique Wilkins. I'm surprised it wasn't Patrick Ewing.
The show is full of dumb jokes like that, and I couldn't get enough of it. A lot goes into keeping the series fresh as it moves on though. I mentioned that there were story arcs, but there's also a surprising amount of character development. Not that any of the characters become what I would call good people, it's more like they get better at being their terrible selves. A throwaway joke with Sonic having a fling with Mother Brain turns into him coming to terms with being a father.
Sneak with one ice cream?
Saniqua what, man? Flash!
Tails has this brief stint as a millionaire, treating Sonic like Sonic treated Tails.
Really, Tails, it was good seeing you.
Yeah, it's good being me. Eat shit, loser!
But after that's all over, he basically becomes the whole squad's whipping boy. He also weirdly gets into lions. It's a whole thing. We don't need to get into it.
We made the outside look ferocious like a lion.
None of us agreed on that last one. Tails is going through some weird lion issues.
Just all these messed up situations keep happening to these characters. And even though all of them are terrible people, that just makes them realize the only ones that can stand them are each other.
What the hell are you doing here?
Well, I realized that if you die, my life is meaningless.
That's so pathetic.
Oh, fuck you, asshole!
They do say the only bond stronger than love is hate after all. The show won't be for everyone though. If you're turned off by overly graphic stuff or crude humor, you probably want to keep on stepping. But if you're like me, someone who regularly rewatches Code Monkeys, then pull up a chair and get comfy. You're home now.
I love you, whores! And I love you, sluts!
The show was a huge hit for Machinima too. After only one episode, the show was already a big success.
I remember the response was really positive. I was expecting something nice, but like the people really liked it right away, so that was very encouraging for the rest of the episodes.
And as soon as season 1 ended, they immediately greenlit another one. And another, and another, and another, and you get the picture. It was all animated in Flash, and they got it down to such a science that they cranked out 7 seasons in 2 years, with almost weekly uploads the whole time. My friends and I used to gather around the Wii and watch them whenever they dropped, and man were those some good times. All we needed was Sonic for Hire, Dragon Ball Z Abridged, and a greasy box of orange chicken to make memories that would last forever. Man, remember Life? Back in the day, I did get confused about where it was for a second. After Machinima decided to move it and all their other animated shows to a separate channel called Happy Hour. It did mean that in its final season, the views went down a bit, in classic Machinima screwing up style, but I don't think it slowed the fandom down too much. And even after it ended, there were other shows made by Lowbrow that kept me engaged. First, there was Mega Man Dies in the End, which kinda just felt like Sonic for Hire if Sonic was actually competent. Then there was Morty Combat, which followed an office worker getting sucked into the Mortal Kombat world. While not as memorable as Sonic for Hire, I really liked these shows too, especially Mega Man, and they both had crossovers with Sonic, pretty much putting them all in the same universe.
I was actually robbing the place when you crashed on top of that dude.
Ah, well that's convenient. Really helps out this gratuitous crossover episode.
But eventually, these ended too, and I was left with nothing. Until like 6 years later, when out of nowhere, I saw that there was a new season, on Verve of all places. Turns out that Rooster Teeth ended up reviving the series, though now it was going by Hedgehog for Hire instead of Sonic for Hire. And like, I get copyright reasons, but they all still call him Sonic. That isn't fooling anyone. It was a fun enough season, though I still prefer the original over it, and eventually Lowbrow managed to get the rights back to the show, changing it back to Sonic for Hire, where it still continues to this day. I'm honestly shocked at how long it managed to go, when every other show I talked about today is dead in the water. It's just like the real games, no matter how much crap goes down, you just can't kill Sonic.
What have you ever done that's so important? A couple decent games like 20 years ago and then a shitload of shitty shit since then?
Aha! So you do know who I am!
And you can't stop me from having a great time with these web shows of old. It was fun taking a trip back to the past, when online shows felt less like a way to make a quick buck, and more just like a group of friends making something to make it. While the internet gets flooded with more and more AI slop, it's stuff like this that reminds me what the internet used to be like, and what it could be like again, for better or for worse. But I'm gonna call it quits here, before I start posting fanfics on Reddit again. Let me know which of these were your favorites in the comments, or if you had a whole other thing you used to watch. Until next time, I'll be throwing V-Bucks cards into traffic. Time for these kids to play God on Nightmare mode.